A very pleasant morning to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure and privilege to be the part of the generic talk series on crisis informatics in the context of social media communications. Uh, Thank you. I welcome you all for the online live generic talk series, webinar series entitled Crisis Informatics in Context of Social Media Communications, organized by Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, the leadership is a remarkable quality that has power to inspire, guide, and influence others towards a common goal. True leadership is not about exerting power, but about empowering others, lifting to them to reach their fullest potential. First, I would like to welcome our Dean Research, Dr. K. Tyagarajan Sir of R.M.D. Engineering College, to welcome the gathering. Please, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. So, respected chairman, respected vice chairman, and members of the management of RMK Group of Institutions, principal of R.M.D. Engineering College, chief guest Dr. Umar Ali Bukar, our alumnus Dr. Divakar, controller of examinations, heads of departments, faculty members, and dear students, a warm welcome to the 15th session of generic talk series. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chairman and vice chairman for their constant support in promoting a culture of learning and growth. A special welcome to Dr. Umar Ali Bukar, Faculty of Computing and Artificial Intelligence, Taraba State University, Nigeria, who will deliver an insightful online talk on crisis informatics in the context of social media communications. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. Our heartfelt welcome to Dr. Divakar, a distinguished alumnus from the 2013 batch of our college, who has been instrumental in arranging this talk. Thank you, sir, for your support and help in making this event possible. I also wish to acknowledge our esteemed principal for guiding us tirelessly and thank Dr. Chilambu Chelvan, Controller of Examination, for organizing this event as part of the generic talk series. A warm welcome to the head of the departments, faculty members, and our enthusiastic student community for your commitment in learning. Today's topic, crisis informatics in the context of social media communications, focuses on how social media can be used effectively during crisis to share information, provide support, and aid decision making. It is a field of merges technology, communication, and human behavior to address challenges during emergencies. Let us actively engage in this session and make the most of this learning opportunity. Thank you for being part of this event, and I look forward for an enlightening session ahead. I once again welcome all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next,
Yes.
I would like thank you, sir. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Chilambu Selvan, sir, Professor, EC Department and Controller of Examinations, R.M.D. Engineering College, to introduce our guest of today's program.
Thank you, sir. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce the resource person, Dr. Umar Ali Bukar, Faculty of Computing and Artificial Intelligence, Taraba State University, Jalingo, Nigeria. Dr. Umar received his BSc in Business Information Technology with concentrations in e-commerce research and strategy from Greenwich University, UK, as well as MSc in Computer Network Management from Middlesex University, Dubai. He completed the PhD degree with the Department of Software Engineering and Information Systems, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, University Putra, Malaysia. He completed as postdoctoral fellow in Center for Intelligence, Cloud Computing, Multimedia University, Malaysia. His contributions have been published in prestigious peer-reviewed journals and international conferences. His IT career has included work as several important projects with responsibilities ranging from teaching, research, and analysis. His research interests include crisis informatics, data analytics, machine learning, and the use of quantitative method in information system research. He is a prominent academic researcher known for his extensive work in the field of sensor networks, Internet of Things, and social media analytics. His recent publications reflect a strong focus on innovative methodologies and applications, particularly in the context of unmanned aerial vehicles and their integration with data collection systems. In 2023, he contributed to several significant studies, including a comprehensive survey on edge-aware UAV-aided data collection, which explores design aspects and opportunities within this emerging field. His work also addresses critical security concerns as seen in his survey of civil attack countermeasures his underwater sensor and acoustic networks published in IEEE Access. Additionally, he has delivered into the efficiency of wireless local area networks through his research on frame aggregation techniques. His interdisciplinary approach is evident in his exploration of social media's role in crisis response during the COVID-19 pandemic, where he investigates how social interactions can aid recovery efforts. His analytical skills are further showcased in bibliometric analysis of literature surrounding age of information-aware UAV communication, as well as his method for text analysis using VOS Weaver. His academic endeavors have garnered support from esteemed institutions such as King South University and King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, alongside partnerships with organizations like Metronics. His contributions continue to advance knowledge in his fields of expertise, making him a valuable asset to the academic community. Sir, we are very honored to have you as a speaker for today's session, and we are eagerly waiting for your informative talk. Once again, on behalf of our institutions, I welcome you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your welcome address, sir. Now I call upon Dr. Umar Ali Bukar, sir, Faculty of Computing and Artificial Intelligence, Taraba State University, Nigeria, to take over the session. Please, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. I am really, really excited to be here. I appreciate you all for organizing this important seminar, and I'm excited to meet these amazing people of academics, and we hope to make a good contribution in the future. So not much to say. As the listeners already aware, I'm going to be talking on social media crisis communication, also a term associated with crisis informatics. So under the banner of keywords such as crisis informatics, social media, and crisis response, disaster management, resilience. So I welcome you all, and I'm happy to be here. If you can you see my slides so that I can continue with the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
It's visible, sir.
Yes, thank you. So our content, we'll be looking at our content today. We'll talk briefly the introduction. Then we'll look at the difference or the relationship between crisis informatics and then social media crisis communication. Then we'll look at the taxonomy of various research in social media crisis communication field and why people are interested in studying this field, why people are interested. We'll look at that also. Then we'll see the existing theories, existing contribution made so far under the field we have chosen to talk about today. And then we'll see the emerging theories that are coming up in the field. I will also discuss how another dimension of crisis informatics, which is text analysis, is reshaping the situational crisis response and communication. And finally, we'll conclude the seminar. So firstly, very, very recently, earlier last month, I used such keyword to search for social media and then crisis or disaster on Scopus to understand the number of publications published so far. So as you can see from this chart, in 2020, we have about 1,700 publications, which increased from the previous 2019. And then in 2021, we also have a significant number, as well as 2022 and 2023. But if you observe, this number of publication dropped in 2024. So, but the increase in 2021, 2022 could be associated with COVID-19 pandemic, where a lot of people contributed a lot toward crisis. And I can remember one of the professors is saying academics, they forget, like they ignore the field of crisis until when COVID-19 hit. That is when they begin to investigate that field and make contribution toward addressing this situation with technology. So, and you can all agree with me that if you look at the technology adoption literature or the technology acceptance literature or customer satisfaction, you will observe that there are a lot of studies focusing on how to identify factors to influence customer satisfaction from the business point of view. And there are also studies that concentrate on how to find out factors that influence adoption of technology, acceptance of technology, and a lot of other things in health, in medicine, in business, in legal. So a lot of people are interested in studying the outcome of adoption behavior or customer satisfaction or success of technology, but they ignore that as human beings, we encounter natural disaster. We have human-induced crisis. We have terrorist attack. And recently, there was a plane crash in Kazakhstan. And this morning, there is also another one in, I think, is it Korea or Japan? So we live with crisis. In India, we have flooding crisis. In Malaysia, we also have flooding. So we have been surrounded by crisis every year and then, and forget the outcome, our concern, what matters to us when crisis occur. And normally what matters to individual when crisis occur is to return to their normal, is to recover. How can we recover? Well, we spend most of the time in investigating technology adoption, technology satisfaction of customers, success of technology. We forget that when crisis hit, our target will no longer be adoption of technology, but how we can recover and how technology can help us to recover quickly and effectively. That is where crisis informatics comes in now. Crisis informatics is normally is a term coined from Germany, and there is a center that did a lot of work in that area. So that is how they come up that technology, when technology is involved in crisis, any kind of technology, be it a drone technology, a UAV technology, artificial intelligence, when technology is involved in crisis situation, in crisis management, then that is when we can start to study crisis informatics. So what is the difference between crisis informatics and crisis communication? Firstly, crisis communication is a term associated normally with business organizations, where when a business entered into crisis or become in a serious crisis, they communicate to their stakeholders in order to reduce or lessen the negative impact of the crisis on their stakeholders. So that is where the term originated from. And mostly, in most of the studies in public relation, in media, that is the effort of crisis communication to identify strategic communication that can lessen the negative effect of a crisis on the organization. At that instance, the public were ignored because the public were not part of the crisis communication. If you could all remember, before, public don't participate in crisis communication. When crisis occur, for example, a plane crash, normally the government issue communication, and that communication is a one-way communication, maybe through television or through radio. So the public were not able to issue their opinion, to respond to the crisis, or to complain. But as a result of media, as a result of new media, social media, the blogs we have, public were able to be part of the communication, and that is how the crisis communication now transform from a one-way communication to two-way communication between the public and the organization. The organization can be a governmental organization when the crisis involves the government. It can be between the private businesses when the crisis only involves the private businesses. So definitely there is a communication that took place, either one way, in order to reduce the negative impact of the crisis, maybe if there is a plane crash, or if it is a negligence by the government that allowed the crisis to occur, maybe it's a flooding, the government failure to address some certain issues about the environment and which lead to the crisis. So definitely the government have to come out and then issue statements. Before, the government normally issued a statement in the form of one-way communication where they just issue the statement and nobody will respond. But as a result of social media, people were able to communicate, people were able to complain, people were able to issue response with regard to the crisis, complain about the government, and the government also have to protect themselves. That is how the communication now become two-way communication. We are going to be looking at that in the future. Then, crisis informatics is a summative term that describes the use. When media is involved, social media, technology, AI, that is how crisis informatics now become a field. So when technology is involved, the crisis communication is rephrased to be crisis informatics. And that is why, if you look at the title, you will observe that we have crisis informatics in the context of social media crisis communication. This is the integration of the terms, of the two terms. So this is the brief taxonomy of the interests of various researchers in crisis informatics. And a lot of previous research studies have investigated a lot of various areas, sub-areas under the banner of crisis informatics. For example, you can, as a technologist, you can develop a DSS system, decision support system, through data from social media, that this data can be used, when processed, can be used to provide insight and knowledge that can be used to improve the crisis response, improve the decision-making of the stakeholders. You can also look at crisis informatics from the crisis management perspective, where social sensing is involved, social sensing through technologies such as UAV or drones, and which can help to map the location of the victim, the location of the accident, if it is a disaster, if it is a flooding. Researchers can easily send drone there to monitor the situation and map out through geo-web technologies. And also, you can also invite crowd sensing. You can invite people, maybe if there is a shortage of people helping in the field, you can use social media, crisis through the technology, to invite people that these people, they need help. There is no help, so we need more people to come on board and assist these people. So you can also look at it from the crisis communication part, where you can study the social network, you can study the issue arena, identify the active and passive people. You can also look at the dynamic of the information disseminated and shared by the public. You can also look at the information seek, what kind of information people are asking. Because sometimes in social media, when crises occur, people will be asking a lot of questions. How many people die? What area is affected? Because maybe they have loved ones located in those areas. They want to know the gravity of the situation and how this thing affected their loved ones, their friends and relatives. So they ask this question on social media, and people they assist them with this kind of information. So you can also monitor what type of information people seek. Even the people affected by the crisis, sometimes they will be seeking for food, sometimes they will be seeking for water, sometimes they will be seeking for relief, medical supplies. So you don't know what they are looking for. So by mining information from social media, you should be able to understand that these people are actually looking for this type of support from the public, this type of relief material from the public, be it medical, be it doctor, or any other things. So at the end of this presentation, we are going to look at examples of how we were able to use social media through text analysis to identify what people want in order to contribute to the literature. And there are a lot of application areas in crisis informatics. As I've mentioned earlier, crisis can range from natural disasters crash, for example, or food poisoning from one organization. They produce a food and the food is not good enough. So, and there are a lot of methods. You can use machine learning method, you can use deep learning method, you can use statistic, structural equation methodology, you can use PLS, regression, ANOVA. So all these methods, researchers use them to investigate, to examine, to study crisis informatics in general. So this is the basic classification of the major areas that researchers study under the banner of crisis informatics. At the end of the day, a lot of contributions were made in those areas. Either they contribute to theory models, or they contribute to through behavioral models where they investigated the usage intention of technology in crisis, or they come up with the framework that mine data from social media, and then this data can be used to make informed decision, or you can use sentiment analysis to understand the nature of the data, whether it is positive or negative, or or the data is just a neutral. So all these are like the key contribution made in this area. And another set of contribution can come from crawlers or API for data gathering. How can you collect the data from social media? That is where crawlers come, or application programming language. There are a lot of contribution made toward that area where technologies, computer scientists, they were able to create tools that can mine data from social media, so that they can crisis data from social media, so that they can analyze it. Then we also have semantic engine that identify knowledge and semantic relation of fact. Then also we have search engine enabling natural language, semantic and semantic queries. We have machine translation that can translate from language to another language, like for example, from India language to English, if the researcher is not cannot speak India, for example. And we also have georeferencing engine where you can map the geography of the areas affected by the crisis. Then we also have classification engine where you can classify these texts. Either this one is informative text, this one is crisis text, and so on. How you can classify. This is very, very apparent, especially in machine learning related field. So these studies were available in the literature, and a lot of people already contributed toward this aspect. Others include visualization tools. So, and there are studies on geomapping and their representation, as well as study of classification engines for clustering of results as well. So this is the contribution, area of contribution, especially if someone wants to become more technical in crisis informatics fields. This is some of the areas of contribution that one can actually make a good contribution. In our earlier discussion, I bring about the scenario whereby a lot of communication take place, and Reuter proposed a metrics on how social media or new media change the nature of communication when crises occur, as against the previous traditional communication that we all knew through radio or through television. So here we have a communication matrix that have 4 quadrants. We have communication from authorities to citizens, where the citizens, the authorities issued communication to the citizens, like provide situational report, situational awareness. Don't go to this place, go to this place. There is assistant in this location. There is no assistant in this location, something like that. So this is kind of communication between authorities to citizens. Then we have citizens to citizens. Also, the citizen to citizen communicate within themselves in the form of maybe asking question, what happened to this area? And someone in social media may know this information and can provide. So also, communication exists between citizens to citizens during crisis. So where they seek self-help between them. And also there is communication between authorities to authorities. Maybe there is an international organization from America that want to assist people in Malaysia or people in Nigeria. So they can only communicate with the organization here in Malaysia. They can use social media also to do that. So there is communication between authorities to authorities. And there is also communication between citizens to authorities. And this is what is missing in the previous communication model of crisis communication. So where the citizens generate content targeting the crisis management, targeting the government, informing them of the current situation, like there is no water in this area, the electricity is cut off in this area, the food is, there is a severe food shortage in this area as a result of this crisis, so that government can act, so that crisis management organization can act accordingly. So the crisis and the nature of its separate makes people to have a lot of physical interaction. So, and at that time, community resilience between the people become very, very important to avoid panicking. So, and social media in this case can be a tool to make people communicate to each other, to provide support to themselves, to help themselves, especially in the case of citizens communication. So that in this case, people will be able to communicate and support each other without going through the authorities. But despite the importance of all this information, there is something missing in the literature. As I've mentioned earlier, the focus when crisis occur, the most important aspect of citizens or public when crisis occur is to return to their normal lives, is to return to normalcy. So that is the during crisis, help assist in that aspect. Informatics and crisis communication is widespread, like earthquake, like flooding, is hard to predict because we cannot predict the situation. It just happened to us. We cannot predict it, though there are a lot of development concerning models and tools that will be able to make prediction when a tsunami is about to occur or when earthquake is about to happen. So, and this there is still under development. So the effort of crisis management is driving to advance the computing of the crisis informatics literature. So under crisis management, several areas can be explored. Several areas can be studied, including social network analysis, issue arena, information seeking, information sharing. This can be investigated by various methods such as content analysis, machine learning method, deep learning method, statistics, PLS. So a lot of previous studies already apply this method to investigate this field. So for any person interested in studying this field, there are a lot of methods. You can look at it from more technical aspect using machine learning or deep learning tools, or you can look at it from the behavioral aspect, social science kind of concept, using by investigating the relationship between various elements that is taking place during the crisis. So, and many studies has reported a concrete use of social media in these instances. Like Reuter emphasized that crisis informatics is a term that describes the use of social media in emergency. So when social media is actively used in emergency, that is what transcends to crisis informatics. And crisis management and communication are being challenged by the impact of social media as a forum of crisis communication, because now people use it as a forum of crisis communication through the informal communication, because we have the formal communication and the informal communication. So it can be used through mobilization of digital volunteers. It can be used through crisis communication. It can be used through information sharing, real-time reporting. It can be used also for situational awareness, and other applications include decision-making and social sensing as well. So in the literature, we have a lot of theories. Some of them are behavioral theories, some of them are static, conceptual kind of framework. So like, for example, we have crisis mapping, integrative crisis mapping introduced by Jean. We have ICC. Then we have a streaming model. We have crisis management metrics and framework. This is like a summary of all the models and tools, theoretical models introduced in this field. Let's look at them one by one. And the major importance one, whereby most of the models were extended open, include SMDR, which is social media disaster resilience model. Then we have ICC, integrative crisis communication. Then we have SCCT, which is situational crisis communication theory. So these are the dominant crisis communication theories in the literature. So this is the brief development history of what transpired in the previous literature. So the SCCT is a majorly based on reputation repair, which is grounded from attribution theory. So the stakeholders attribution was used in the context of apology strategies, and the theory focused mainly on the sender that overlooks the receiver. If you observe in my previous explanation, using the traditional media, the communication is a one-way communication where the authorities only issue communication. And that is when this theory is introduced, is developed. And that is one of the disadvantages of this particular theory. It overlooks the perception of the sender's message as a result of social media. Because when social media come, the perception, people also have perception. So, but it overlook the perception and just issue communication in order to protect the organization. Then another theory that we have is the SMCC. So as a result of social media, Jean and Co. introduced another theory called SMCC. This theory observed that since SCCT cannot provide the solution needed by the dynamic nature of social media, then the SMCC was proposed to bridge this weakness found in SCCT concerning the new media, in particular social media. So as a result of this, the SMCC reported that social media comes with different kinds of public engagement. So where we have interaction between citizens and citizens, and then interaction between authorities to authorities, as well as interaction between citizens to authorities. So it comes with different kind of public engagement and interaction between stakeholders as everyone participates in crisis response. So this is emphasized by streaming concept. And after that, another theory was introduced, which is SMDR. SMDR, social media disaster resilience model. So it's introduced to examine how social media usage contribute to community resilience. And the community resilience is the significant attribute of a community under crisis. Is the aim is the overall goal of community under crisis. Their aim is to reach resilience, is to recover. So these researchers, they investigated how SMDR can examine social media in order to contribute to resilience. But the problem with this theory is that it cannot address the relationship between social media activities and public resilience building, rather demonstrate how social media is an effective tool for resilience. So, and there is also a growing literature suggesting that the impact of crisis response and social media interaction and how this can affect cellular relationship or build resilience. So, but this has not been addressed properly. This is according to Mola. So as a result, that is how I pick interest in this field and where we conceptualize a model based on SMCC to examine resilience during flooding through survey and structural equation modeling with ANN, artificial neural network, exploring various crisis response and social media interaction behaviors. And so these are the elements of these existing theories. Like for example, integrated crisis mapping is for management purpose. So it's for the authorities. It's not public-based theory. Is the conceptualization of stakeholders' emotion. It determines the origin of crisis, either is external or internal, and allows the participating that emotion stakeholders are likely to feel when crisis occur. So this theory focuses on the people emotion. What can they feel when crisis occur? So, and reported 3 dominant emotion, including anger, sadness, and fright, differ according to the 3 criteria of origin. It's either internal or external or personal public crisis. Then we have the situational crisis communication theory, which is evidence-based guidance for crisis communication. So this theory investigated the degree of responsibility for the crisis attributed by the stakeholders to the organization. Sometimes when crises occur, for example, the plane crisis, people start issuing blame. Is this organization that should be blamed? Is the flight is not good? Is the government that allow the flight to have license? So a lot of blame is thrown out because of this. So as a result, SCCT is introduced to reduce, to observe the degree of responsibility attributed by the stakeholders to the organization when crises occur. So, and then they try to understand if this attribution is positive or is negative, and how this attribution can affect the reputation of the organization. So, in this theory, 3 components were investigated. We have the victim, then we have the accidental and preventable. Then we have maximized reputational protection by identifying the cluster and reacting accordingly. Then we have 2 strategies. We have defensive, either you defend or you accommodate. So when this happens, when people are throwing blame to the organization, blame. So this is what the SCCT theory investigated. Then we have the social mediated crisis communication model, which determine the best sweetest response strategy. What kind of response can we issue? This theory examine the response strategy and how consistent the crisis is originated and the emotion it triggers. So some crises, when they happen, the emotions are severe, while others, they are not severe. So like, for example, if it is an earthquake, the emotion is severe. If it is negligence, the emotion is also, depends on the gravity of the crisis. So this theory emphasizes that the attribution dependent or the attribution is independent. So to which the response or to its content or to form, that is social media, traditional media, or any other source, either third party should be adopted. So how can we adopt? Based on the degree of the crisis or the severity of the crisis that affected the people. So this is the structure of these theories. This is the structure of like the grammatical structure of the dominant theories. We have the first one is SCCT, the second one is SMCC, and the third one is ICCM, the fourth one is TRIMI, which emphasize that the social media crisis communication is dynamic in nature. Then we have SMDR, which is by Mola, which just propose a framework to understand how social media can be used to improve resilience. So this is the component, the various component of these various theories. We have SCCT, focus on the crisis. Then we have the crisis responsibility, the response strategy, denial, diminution, rebuilding, or bolstering. Then we have crisis history, either be it a period reputation, organizational reputation, and so on. Then we have SMCC, we have followers in active, influential, because in this theory, the theory suggests that when social media is used as a platform for crisis communication, there are a lot of people that participate in the crisis communication. And these people can be followers only, or can be inactive, or can be influential. That is people that control the discussion. So they issue communication frequently. Then we have organization. It can be crisis origin or crisis type or infrastructure or messages, and it can be message from traditional media and so on. So then under the SMDR, we have pre-disaster, then we have social media, and how social media were able to increase resilience through RRR, that is robustness, redundancy, and rapidity. So this is what the focus of this theory, in order to show, to demonstrate that yes, social media can be used to improve resilience building. Then we have the streaming. The streaming is a dynamic framework. It has, first, according to streaming, you have to survey the social media. Once you survey, you identify the target audience. And once you identify target audience, you now respond and continue to engage, because the data come in. So you respond and continue to engage in social media. Then you also monitor and interact. You interact more, and then you implement changes. Then the other one, we have social media crisis communication metrics. So we have crisis responsibility, we have weak, we have strong, we have emotion. It can be sympathy, sadness, pride, or anger. Or timely. Then we have X or any other social media that arouse stakeholders. So more analysis of the crisis communication according to the strength and the popular theories of crisis communication of SMCC is the trigger or enabler of crisis. So it just reported the 10 technologies. Well, SAC, based for awareness and how to avoid risk-related concern, and it's not flexible and does not consider social media dynamic.
Professor,
Then we have the
sorry to
streaming
interrupt.
model, which is
Sorry to
dynamic, specific.
sorry to interrupt, Professor. Your
Developed for
sharing
social
screen is
media,
not sharing, sir.
but yes,
Your screen is not sharing,
yes,
sir. Please share again, sir.
it's not
Yes, sir.
sharing.
The sharing has been stopped. Please
Oh,
share the screen again and continue, sir. Please.
okay.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible, sir.
Hello,
Yes,
can you
sir. Now
hear
it's
me?
visible, sir.
Sir.
Please carry on, sir.
Yes. So sorry for the technical breakdown. Hello?
Yes, sir. Now it's in full screen, sir. Please carry on your presentation, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now the screen is shared. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Now the screen is shared,
Hello, the
sir.
Yes, sir.
screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as we are saying, so this is the component, the basic component of crisis communication models, existing models. So this is the new theoretical direction in social media crisis communication. As this model emphasizes that the outcome variable of crisis communication is resilience, is community resilience. People, researchers need to start investigating how social media and its related factors can be able to improve resilience. And what are the factors can be used? Either information seeking factors, information sharing factors. What are the factors can be used to improve resilience? So that is how this model come to board. So the model, the crisis, some of the components of the model were originated from social media crisis communication theory. Others were originated from streaming and ICCM. And then the resilience is adopted from social media disaster resilience. This model is according to the model to represent the nature of interaction between stakeholders and to aid the reader's conceptualization of how this methodological approach is differentiated from the existing approach of crisis communication. Crisis is trigger that allow crisis response to take place on social media. And then crisis response are factors influencing the stakeholders formation. Because when crisis happens, stakeholders start to form by making, by issuing, responding to the crisis. So as a result, when crisis occur, so crisis response has a relationship with the crisis. Then second, as a result of social media now, people use social media. Social media becomes as an environment that allow people to interact with themselves. So, and this is where people interact as group for specific purpose and mediate consistent and meaningful aspect of their activity through technology. So the ICCM emphasized the importance of interaction between stakeholders, and then the whole ICCM is referred. The SMDR approved the use of social media, and that is how the SMCCR was conceptualized, where it highlights there is a relationship between social media as an environment, supporting crisis response and social interaction, which in turn improve people's ability to recover. Then the crisis management also aim at improving the ability of people to recover crisis. And the most important aspect of SMCCR is to examine the relationship between crisis, social interaction, resilience, and how this can improve the crisis situation. So the SMCCR was extended with information seeking and information sharing attribute in the future. So this is the behavioral aspect of the crisis communication literature. Studies can investigate resilience as an outcome variable, just as when they investigated technology adoption, technology acceptance, success of technology, or customer satisfaction. So the point is this: there is need for researchers to be looking at what element, what factors can contribute to resilience building when crises occur, what factors can contribute to people to recover from crisis easily and effectively when crises occur. So, but if there is no interest in that area, people can go into more technical where they can mine data from social media and then analyze analyze the data and come up with an example. Text and sentiment analysis is another dimension of crisis informatics, social media, crisis communication research. And in these aspects, text from social media can be mined and analyzed to understand the information posted about crisis. And the information can be used to improve crisis response, decision making, and situational awareness. And several tools, techniques, and methods can be used in these aspects, which include machine learning models, natural language processing models, data retrieval analysis method, ontology and data management to visualization tool. And that is why immediately we recognize this kind of aspects, our attention turned to how we can now leverage this aspect and then study this area, study data from social media, and then come up with a framework. So as a result, while investigating the risk literature, we identify that there is a gap existing in the literature where we can use the text mining feature of Voice Viewer to analyze crisis data set. Normally, a Voice Viewer is a tool that is used for bibliometric analysis. But as a result, in this aspect, we're able to format the attribute of the data set to be able to be valid for Voice Viewer. And through that effort, we're able to analyze the crisis data set and then produce visualization map that crisis management can be used to improve the decision and then improve, have information that will help them to make informed decision. So this is the methodological aspect of that particular paper. The paper is published with International Journal of Information Management Data Science. It's recently published this month. So the data acquisition, we leverage on the data obtained from crisis map. It's a very existing data set that have 8936 record. So, and the name of the data set is called Crisis Bench. It can be accessed. The link of the data is there in the paper. So, and this is the file name. So we use Crisis Consolidated Humanitarian Filter data set. So if you don't want to use an existing data set, if there is a crisis, you can just mine the data immediately and then format the attribute of the data according to the Voice Viewer requirement and then analyze it to understand the reaction of the people. Maybe if it is a public crisis, for example, maybe there is someone buying for election and you want to understand the sentiment of that person, you can also mine those data and then put it into Voice Viewer. And Voice Viewer can be able to analyze the text aspect of that data. But first, you need to modify the attribute of the data set to meet the Voice Viewer requirement before the Voice Viewer can accept that data as valid input for the analysis. After that, you do data cleaning, you clean the data. Excel is a very, very powerful tool that can help you to do that. So after that, once the data is valid, you now use it as an input into Voice Viewer, and the Voice Viewer will produce visualization with what occurrences with relevance that can help you understand the dominant terms and the most frequently used terms and the most of the and the major issues discussed by the public. So in this research, we're able to come up with visualization based on the crisis data set. So this is the sample visualization as a result of our own analysis. And you can see from here, the most dominant terms are water, food, and then we have mention of baby, we have mention of message, we have mention of medical, we have mention of brother, we have mention of clothing, we have mention of rainfall, government, sometimes weather. So there are a lot of things that actually helps people to understand what people want from this visualization. What are they complaining about? What are they responding to? What reaction are they making? Even rice. You can actually interpret what happens, what people are looking for. what people are showing they are concerned to. So this visualization is produced as a result of our analysis from the crisis data set we analyze by the use of voice viewer. So at the end of the day, after we analyze the crisis data set, we now classify the data we obtain according to the 10 humanitarian information type. Crisis occur, you expect 10 different types of information emanating from the public. 10 different type of information. And this information were classified under affected individual. So you can have, you'll be looking for information about the affected individual. You'll be looking for information about the caution or advice from the people that are on the ground, on the field, or from the people affected by the crisis. You could also be looking at information regarding the displaced people. Are there people displaced as a result of the crisis? Is there any evacuation needed? So you also be looking at those information. Then there is also information about donation or volunteering. Do we need donation? Are people lacking of something? So you need to also be looking at this kind of information. You could also be looking at information about infrastructure. What infrastructure is damaged? What utility is not being provided, like water, like electricity? Which of the infrastructure is damaged? Which one can we go and recover immediately? So you also be looking at this kind of information. Then also we'll be looking at information about the injured or dead people. Are there mention of injured or dead people? So looking at those information. Then also you will also be looking at missing or found people and request or need. What are the requests? What are the need? What are the relief material needed on ground? What are the response effort provided? What are the sympathy? Is there any sympathy from the public? Is there any sympathy from the government? Also, this kind of information, you should be looking at them. Then also, the last one is non-informative. This information doesn't have any information that we can derive from. So this is the 10 classification of information when crisis occur, they are looking for. They are looking for this type of information. And when they receive the information, they classify it according to this. So in order to validate the voice viewer, since this study, this particular paper is the early that use voice viewer to analyze crisis data set. I want to validate whether this input, this result we obtain from voice viewer can be mapped or can be classified according to the 10 humanitarian classification already accepted in the literature. And through that, we have some examples. In the case of affected people, we have mention of, in the case of affected people, we have mention of boy, child. So this can be people affected. Then in the case of caution and advice, we have plan, save everyone, weather, talk, pray. So this kind of terms can be associated with caution or advice. Then we have displaced and evacuation. We have mention of dad, mother, the sister, baby, brother. So these terms also can be associated. People maybe are reporting their brother is missing, their dad is missing, their baby is missing, I cannot see my baby, something like that. So there is also mention of donation or volunteering. So donation for food, donation for water, donation for medicine, shelter. All these were identified through the visualization enabled by voice viewer. And there are also mention of infrastructure, bridges, road, electricity. Maybe people are saying that the bridge is collapsed. The bridge of social location is no longer functioning. People don't go through that bridge. And there is also maybe the road is in social location is damaged. So people should not go to that road because it's damaged as a result of the crisis or as a result of the flooding. And there is also mention of electricity. Maybe the electricity is not working. People are complaining. Our electricity is damaged or is shut down. So you can also identify this kind of information. We also have injured or dead people. Body casualty is seen in the data set. Body casualty we are seeing according in our own analysis. Then we also found missing and found people. maybe dad, mother, sister also can be associated with missing and found people. Then we have request or need. Under request, food, water, medicine, clothing can also fall under request as of donation and volunteering. Then we have response effort. We have terms like control, plan, evacuation, save everyone. So all these can be part of evacuation. And then we have sympathy. People are showing support, sympathy and support. Pray, thought, pray for Visayas, pray for Nepal. So all these terms were seen in the data set during the analysis. And then finally, we have not informative terms like haha, point, and so on. So we try in this study to see how we can use the text analysis concepts available in both viewer to analyze crisis data sets and come up with visualization that can be used by the crisis management in order to make informed decision, in order to identify the most frequently concern of the people, what people are responding to. And that is just like the validation of the usage of both viewer to do that. So in conclusion, crisis informatics encompasses the use of technology to enhance crisis management and communication. And over the years, technology innovation have transformed how we plan and respond to crisis or disaster. And social media has emerged as a pivotal tool for crisis communication, serving as both a rich information source and a vital channel for connection. So, but during crisis, the ultimate goal for those affected people is to build normalcy and to foster resilience. A lot of research has established the intricate relationship between crisis, social media, and resilience, emphasizing key factors like information seeking, information sharing, and online behavior. Furthermore, the vast data shared on social media offers invaluable insight for decision making, enabling better crisis management and relief effort. Advanced methodological tools, including machine learning, deep learning, sentiment analysis, text analysis, natural language processing, and visualization technique play a crucial role in classifying information and presenting actionable insight for crisis management. This brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry for the technical bridges that I have encountered with my network. I'm very, very sorry. Okay.
Participants, any queries?
Yes, anything.
Dr. Umar,
Yes,
hello.
yes, I can hear you. Yes.
You told about VOS viewer.
Yes.
Actually, it is used to show the network of documents, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, can you repeat your question again?
No, you told about VOS viewer. Actually, it is used
Yes,
to show the connections between the documents, but you are saying about
Yeah.
the words to be connected, isn't it? Will it show like that? Will it
The
analyze
both
or
viewer.
we have to analyze?
The both viewer, normally, the both viewer is used. Both viewer is
Yes.
a tool. It's like a it is very popular. It's very popular for bibliometry analysis. But we were able to understand the weakness of both viewer. Since we know both viewer is a very, very powerful tool that can provide good visualization and identify from abstract data set. And the challenge is that how can we use both viewer to analyze different data set that is not bibliometric data? And that is why the challenge comes. So in order to do that, we have to come up with the strategies on how to like format our data set to meet the both viewer requirement in order to analyze it. That is what we did actually.
Okay, thank you.
So we break that particular bridge. Yes, yes, yes.
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Sir, concluding,
Not
sir.
Professor.
Yes,
only
ma'am.
Dr.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Good evening,
Any other
everyone.
question? Yes. Good evening.
Jayat Prasad, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
You propose
Good
vote of
evening.
thanks.
Yes, sir. I will propose vote of thanks, sir. Good evening, everyone. As we come to the end
Yes,
of the
yes.
insightful and enriching webinar, it is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on the behalf of our organizing team. First and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Umar Ali Bukar, Faculty of Computing and Artificial Intelligence at Taraba State University, Nigeria, for generously sharing his valuable knowledge and expertise with us today. Your in-depth analysis, clear explanations, engaging presentation about crisis communication metrics, crisis management, crisis communication, text analysis visualization have made technical concepts much easier to understand. We are truly grateful for the time and effort you took to prepare and deliver this presentation, sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Divagar Bala, sir, an esteemed alumni of R.M.D. EC 2013 passed out batch, for his invaluable support in arranging today's generic talk, and his dedication and commitment to facilitating this event is truly appreciated. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. So thank you for all the participants for your active involvement and attention throughout the session. Your enthusiasm and insightful questions have made the session interactive and fruitful. I would like to thank our dedicated management and our esteemed principal sir, Dr. Anbuchelian sir, and our esteemed dean sir, Dr. K.K. Tyagarajan sir, and our passionate HOD ma'am, head of the department, Electronics and Communication, Dr. Helen Prabha ma'am, and the Professor Selammu Selvan sir, Controller of Examinations, for their unwavering support in making this webinar possible. And the session was so informative and engaging. We look forward to see you at our future events. Thank you once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Jyoti
Thank you,
Prasad.
Professor. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you,
Thank you, sir.
Umar sir. Thank you,
Yes,
Divakar.
thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Divakar, thank you.
Devar, sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much, Dr. Umar and Dr.
Thank you.
Tyag, sir, Dr. Chilambu, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
See you sooner with another event. Thank you.
Sure,
Have a good
sir.
day.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
sir.
ma'am.
Selambu
Thank
Selvan,
you.
sir.
Thank you, Joy, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.